With the 100th episode coming up in just a week, I thought it was time to take a little look back at the start of the channel and how it's gotten to where it is now, where it is right now, and maybe what's coming up in the future. The last year and a half for my channel, Confessions of a Theme Park Worker, has been nuts. It's been more than I ever thought it would be, and completely unexpected. Little bits and pieces of this story I've told before, but I figured I would take a little time and go back and share the whole story of the channel, how it got started, and how it's kind of grown, and looking back, it kind of give a good inventory of where we are now, as well as what's going to be coming up in the future, because I am really excited about the future. When I first started the channel back in 2016, it was one of those kinds of deals where if you've got a dad who likes to tell the same story over and over again, kind of drives you nuts. Well, that's kind of what I was doing with my kids. And it wasn't a bad thing, but they would start to tease me that I kept telling the same stories over and over and drive them a little crazy telling them the same things, especially the ones about working at theme parks. At the same time, my son was actually doing a YouTube channel on the side for a fandom thing that he was into, and he actually started making some money on it. He actually has a friend of his from college, Evangel, who actually made videos about Rubik's Cubes and paid his whole college bill off of that. I was like, wow, that's kind of cool. One of the other things I'm also into is genealogy and family history. So we kind of started talking, okay, what's a way that I could stop driving them nuts telling the same stories and maybe have a little bit of fun? Well, why not make some videos and tell the stories that way, put them all on video, and that way there's also a history and archive there for later years when and if they ever have children of their own and grandchildren or whatever, then there's something to kind of pass on, and some fun stories, and maybe some other people actually enjoy listening to them as well. Didn't have high hopes for it. In fact, I remember telling them at the time, hey, if I get 1,000 subscribers and off of ads I end up, if I'm making $100 a month, that would be super cool. That's more than I ever expect. Yeah, didn't have big expectations. We actually kind of made a joke that I set up a fan page and a Patreon just in case somebody actually wants to be a fan. You know, looking back now, a year and a half later, approaching 2 years in May, it's almost kind of silly because the fan page now has over 1,000 people that have liked it. There's now a Reddit forum. There's a Discord server. I've got a website that's bare bones, but I do have my own website and domain now. And some of the other things that have come along with it. If you want to buy the merchandise, I've got a store now. You can check out the SirWillow Confessions of a Theme Park Worker merchandise in that. There's a link in the description. I've got a bunch of patrons. You'll see all of their names at the end. Those are the people who financially support me each month, and for several of them, it's each video. And I never expected to really even have any, but I set it up just kind of as a dream thing. I am so grateful for them. I've had some wonderful patrons. I've gotten to meet several of them in person. I had one family who's one of my patrons drive all the way up here from Florida to visit and spend some time. And in fact, if you go back and you look at the Silver Dollar City videos in 2016, you'll even see them in there. Just really kind of blown away. Like most YouTube channels, it started slow, and that was perfectly fine, perfectly expected, because I wasn't doing it expecting to get a lot of views. And for the first 8 months or so, I think the biggest video I had with views was probably like 1,000, 2,000 views, something like that. Not very many. And most of my views were getting something like 100 or whatever. And I had a few hundred subscribers that had built up over the 8 months. And that was with me spreading the videos and linking them on my Facebook page, where I've got over 1,000 people that are actually friends on Facebook. And then roller coaster forums and Disney forums and Reddit and any other place I could think of. And I built up a few hundred subscribers that way, which was still pretty cool. A lot of work, making sure I have my videos out every week. And then March of 2017, I had one video that really took off. And if you've been watching my channel for a while, you probably can even guess which one it is. And that's the one about the groups that had cast members afraid. And it's actually talking about some of the tour groups in particular. It mentions a few other things that would be really hard groups for cast members to work with, but in particular the tour groups. Well, that video in March of 2017 suddenly hit YouTube's algorithms just right and started gathering likes and comments and shares and views, and it just steamrolled. And at this point, it's at something like 460,000 views or something like that. Easily my most viewed video. Blew me away. I mean, it just started taking off in this 1 month, and I'm going, oh my goodness, this is crazy. And it was going so fast and so many comments, I couldn't even keep up with it. But it also brought in all the subscribers, and my subscriber count started growing, and then other people started watching. And they went from that video to all the others and realized that I wasn't just some guy that was complaining, but I was actually having fun and enjoying all this kind of stuff. And so it's been an incredible year. With all of that, not only was I doing confessions, but gradually we started doing the park tales, which is more of my vlogs in the park and about my visits and stories of past visits. And of course, that's now got all the Disney trip. I'm still really kind of in a state of shock over how it has grown. And it's still growing. It has its ebbs and flows. We're in a little bit of a slower period. It was really slow during December. Came back up again in January some, and slowing down a little bit, and that's okay. But it's still more now than I ever dreamed it would actually be. It has opened up doors of opportunity I never expected. A year ago, if you had told me that I would have had viewers that would have sponsored a trip to Walt Disney World so I could go film videos, I would have laughed. Yeah, you're nuts. Okay. If you had told me a year and a half ago that I would have viewers sending me mail to open up, I would have looked and said, who wants to send me mail? And I'm constantly getting stuff. If you had told me that I was going to have an opportunity to go to Disneyland Paris, I would have called you totally insane, because there's no way my budget or anything would ever allow that to happen, let alone have somebody pay for my way. And yet all of that has happened. I can still remember one of my early mail calls where Richard, one of my patrons, sent me a box that had all of this stuff in. I remember getting the maple syrup and the cookies, and oh my goodness. And then he topped that off with another box that had smartwatches and a dash cam and other stuff. And I was just like, wow, and they're sending me this. And I'm still, every time I get a letter, if you haven't watched my mail calls, and I do them all live now, I am blown away every single time I get a letter. It really, it's incredible to me that people would even desire. So I'm humbled and blessed every time I see one. And I save every single one of those letters, and I'll get to that in just a minute here. But it's allowed the channel to grow and everything I'm doing to grow. I was going from one episode a week with just confessions to still doing my confessions every Thursday normally. But now I also have a Park Tales episode every week, and then when I can, I throw in extras. And so it's gone from one episode a week to typically 2 or 3, and sometimes even more, depending upon what little extras I've got. More than I ever would have imagined. It's still a part-time thing. You know, I'm in my church office right now, which is the regular background that you see. And that is my main job, is I am a pastor. That is what I do. It's a small church, doesn't pay, and believe it or not, that's about 65 to 70% of pastors out there. We do this free. So this has been kind of my paid job since it really started to take off about a year ago. But it has been wonderful, and it still doesn't pay that much. Honestly, it's not... I get a little money. I get several $100s between Patreon and YouTube, but not a whole lot each month. But it's been more than I thought. And it has been so much fun. And even if everybody left right now, I would still continue to do it because I have so much fun doing it. But I want to thank you for joining on, because you are why it happens. I've gotten so many ideas and so much input and gotten to meet so many people. And that has just made it not just what I expected, but so much more worth it. You're the reason why I've been doing a lot of the extras I've been doing. The Park Tales, the extra videos, the live streams, are because so many of you watch. And it's an incredible blessing to me. So thank you for that. If you can't tell, and I'll turn the camera around here in just a second and show you, I've actually even had to redo my office. You can see the one file cabinet back there which has magnets on it. That's actually a church business one, and I had one file cabinet that was just my stuff. Well, I'm having to redo all of it now because I've gotten so much from you and others, as well as on my trips that I didn't expect to take and picked up a bunch of stuff. I actually had to go out and buy a brand new file cabinet and go alongside of it and reorganize everything. Now, what I had for my collection was just this first file cabinet here. And I actually just replaced it and actually got a little bit longer one because the other one was just packed full. And you can see more of the magnets there. So I've actually just started rotating things into that. But then I also found a great deal on that second file cabinet. And so we're working on filling that in. The one on the right is now full. And I'll let you kind of look here. Yes, that is all park brochures. And I'll fill in all of the details at some point on a video that way. But then you can see with me receiving so many things, this is a box of brochures and material. This is actually old stuff I had never filed because I didn't have room. And then if I swing over to the couch here in my office, the black bag is all stuff from my Tennessee trip I never got filed. Terrible, isn't it? But now I finally have some room to put it in. This is from my most recent mail calls, the last two. And so those things are all going to be getting put away in there. Again, I keep all the fan mail. And then I've got one other box of some various odds and ends. So it's going to be wonderful to be able to finally get all of this stuff put in. And the best part, I even got some stuff pulled out of boxes. So all my old Eyes and Ears magazines are now here in the file cabinet, along with a whole bunch of my old prints and things like that that are from my days working. So I'm really excited to be able to get all this done in the next couple of days, if schedule allows, and assuming we don't get too much more ice. Because as I film this, we've got more ice, freezing rain and stuff coming in the next 2 hours. Yay! So yes, now I've got 2 file cabinets, and it's still growing. So I've got things that I haven't had a chance to put into place yet, and you can see a little bit of that. Now, for those who've always asked for a closer look at my shelves and everything that's on them, here I'll zoom in just a little bit and let you take a look. That's a SeaWorld lunchbox. The 50th anniversary golden ears from Disney. Yes, that's the Texas Cyclone. That's a picture I took on my trip. So is that picture, along with the Figment. Older book there, Mouse Tales. If you really want to know about behind the scenes with Mouse Tales, that's a great book to get. My PhotoPass bag, they gave those out to photographers one year. Give you a little look at some of the other books. Disneyland, the Disney Insider Yearbook, David Bennett's Roller Coaster, American Amusement Parks, the Amusement Park Guide. Of course, I got my beaver and the little moose there from Canada. Thank you, Richard. Another bag. That actually came from one of the cast sales. My Father Talked to Trees actually came from Bonfani Gardens out in California. There's another great book. Cup. Thrill Seeker's Guide. And then, let's see, there's a Busch Gardens lunchbox. And then that would be Thunderation at Dollywood. You can see the Christmas ears there. And then a couple more books. Silver Dollar City's anniversary book. Mouse Under Glass. Wonderful book on Kennywood. Most of these books, I actually have links on my SirWillow page as well as on Facebook. So you can look them up that way. I'll make sure I put a link in the description for you. You can see the handfuls of magnets I have on this, as well as a few brochures and other things there I need to get put away. And then that is actually from the restaurant SeaWorld, Sharks. And I've got a bunch of other things in there. Also hiding down here at the bottom, those are actually all roller coaster magazines on the left side there. So that's kind of where I'm at now. I'm at 27,000 subscribers, which is 27 times more than I ever expected to get. I've got a trip to Paris coming up in about a month. I just got back from Disney World a month ago, and I'm still getting stuff up from that trip. I've got some great plans for summer coming up. We're looking at a few different things. My wife doesn't know about a lot of this stuff yet. We have family members that are actually paying for my wife and I to go to Israel in June, which is incredible. Yes, I will be doing videos of that trip. We were also looking at a good chance of having a cruise in July from some other friends of ours. It's amazing how this is working. And again, yes, I've never been on a cruise. So, yep, you bet I'll be vlogging that to let you all see what it's like to be on a cruise if you haven't been on one. We've got family probably coming out of town end of July. And we'll be doing some park visits and some things like that. So there's still a lot coming up this year. And who knows what else is coming up later on. But thank you for helping the channel grow and keep growing. Ideally, I would love to see it grow even more. I would love to see it get to a point where the finances can grow in such a way that it'll allow me to do some other things that I would like to do. I've been gradually upgrading my equipment. You've probably noticed, if you look back at my original videos, just how chintzy they look. And I've added video cameras and lighting and sound equipment. And on this one, I'm kind of going for an old retro look. I'm back on my cell phone. But most of the time, I'm on video cameras and other things now. So it's been wonderful to increase all that. I would love to be able to actually pick up a little more professional equipment. In particular, get my sound stuff down. I'd love to be able to do some trips with some of that thing. I'd love to be able to get back out to Disneyland. My hope is we may be able to do Disneyland another year and a half or so. I'm actually looking at going to Florida again in 2019 in August, and so we may hit some of the other parks besides Disney then. We'll see. We'll see what budget allows, because that'll be a church business trip, and hopefully we can tag on a few days. But just watching it grow has been tremendous. So thank you for being part of that. I'd love to hear your comments. The 100th episode is coming up in a week. I'm going to be doing a greatest hits in that. So if you've got a video clip you'd like to see, there's still a few days you can get them suggested. I'm putting together pretty much clips that all my viewers have suggested. So if there's one you want to see, make sure you get it in there, and I'll be sure to add that on. I want to do more collabs. There's something about talking with somebody else who has worked at Disney that it brings out more stories and more memories. So I really want to be able to do more of that. So I'm hoping to add more of those on and just keep growing and hopefully have you along with it. So please keep liking and sharing the videos. Be sure to hop onto the Facebook page and the Reddit and the Discord. I love to hear from you. I love reading the comments and the discussions. Send me your feedback. I really do love hearing from you, and a lot of people will notice I'm very active on my comments thing. I love interacting because that's a lot of the fun for me. So let me know if you've got other ideas, other suggestions, other questions. If you know somebody who's worked at a park and maybe we have some good stories and interaction that way, that would be great. Thanks so much for being a part of it. I want to continue to let you be a part of it and to get involved. Thanks so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons, too, for your support. Honestly, a lot of the extra stuff I do with the trips and the upgraded equipment all happens because of my supporters on Patreon. And they are a huge portion. I don't think they have any idea how much of a blessing they are to me and how much they've contributed to the channel. So thank you to my patrons. Thank you to my viewers. Thank you to those who may be watching for the first time. Thanks for joining on board and being along with the Confessions of a Theme Park Worker and my Park Tales. Looking forward to the next 100 episodes and whatever they may have in store for us. When I first started the channel back a year and a half, when did I start the channel? It was 2017. Looking forward to another fantastic If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button right there. If you'd like to see another great video of mine, there's a good one right there for you. And if you'd like to be like these wonderful people and support me on Patreon, hit that link right there. Thanks so much.